And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken, right here on BearcatJournal.com. As always, visit our good friends at Galactic Fried Chicken. You can go to www.galacticfriedchicken.com, download the app for Android, iPhone, everything Galactic, and from that app, you can have them deliver pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop. Great for dinner tomorrow because you don't want to cook, because the Bengals are playing at 4:30 again, and you don't want to be stuck in the kitchen. So get you some Galactic Fried Chicken, or get down to Dayton, Kentucky. Tell them to pump it up and save yourself 15%. Well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad, I guess, Aaron.
Yeah.
Where would you like to start?
I guess let's just get the football season done and out of the way. In the way that it ended, makes me not even want to talk about it. But
well, here's everybody wanted to talk about the Big 12 all season, right?
Sure.
Big 12, Big 12, Big 12, Big 12. It was very apparent today. This team Louisville was clearly the more talented team. Now, sure, that is Cincinnati without a lot of good players, but guess what?
Louisville was also without a lot of good players.
That too, but those guys aren't coming back. Like, you don't get them back. They're gone. Whether the transfer portal, getting ready, preparing for the draft, whatever the case may be, those guys that are gone are gone. And there's probably going to be some guys that were on that field today that won't be here when the next semester starts.
Sure.
They're not going to be done with guys entering the portal. But I'm sure that was pretty eye-opening for Scott Satterfield, because that was a team that did not look very talented.
They also didn't look like they wanted to be there.
No, I don't agree with that.
I've not seen the defense play like that.
They got gashed. Like they were manhandled at the point of attack. That's not wanting to be there. That's getting your ass kicked. I think the whole not wanting to be there thing, like, unless they gave up, like, that's lazy. Like, they only gave up 24 points. They turned them over 4 times. Like, effort wasn't the issue. Talent was the issue. Did you, like, look at the holes that the Louisville running backs were sprinting through for a large part of the day? I don't think that has anything to do with, guys didn't want to be there. They got their ass kicked. When you get your ass kicked like that, you have to look and say, maybe this team wasn't as talented as we thought they were, and being in the American masked that. And when you're in the eye of the storm, that's why I was like, we'll worry about what happens next and the Big 12 when it happens. Well, guess what? It happened. And the season is over. And there's a new staff in place. And they've got a roster to deal with right now, because that did not look like a very good roster against a Louisville team that was supposed to be fighting all the same issues that Cincinnati was fighting. One team looked ready. The other team looked like it got bullied.
It was ugly. It was difficult to watch. I had to watch all 4 quarters of it because I had to watch all 4 quarters of it to do things like this. But
yeah, I left at halftime. I watched in the back. I watched most of the second half in the media room at the basketball game. By the time I walked out to the floor, there was nothing left to see, especially since I missed a good chunk of the fourth quarter, and Cincinnati gained 0 yards on 9 plays in the fourth quarter.
I will say some highlights. Blue Smith, 2 catches. He had 32 yards. Wyatt Fisher made a tremendous play. Both of his catches, for that matter. Peyton Singletary's catch was also incredible. But it was, when you go 7 to 15 for the day, 83 yards for the day.
We set the over under at 100 in yards passing, and it was under. It's definitely under.
When you only end up with a measly 127 yards of offense total.
138. 138 is what the stat broadcast has.
All right, I'm on
83 rushing, or 83 passing, 55 rushing.
Okay, so they went 44, and I want to say probably a bunch of that's the sacks.
Yeah. Well, no, they had a lot. They lost a lot of yards in sacks. They lost 64 yards.
I was gonna say I'm showing Evan 13 carries, negative 30 yards. So
yeah, let's see. Yeah, 13 carries for negative 30 yards. They averaged 1.4 yards per carry. There was a positive in the running game. Welcome back, Ethan Wright.
Right.
Who, if you're building out a depth chart for 2023, Ethan Wright absolutely has to be in the conversation at running back.
And I don't know what that says for. I don't know what that actually says for your running back room.
I do. Ethan Wright, Luke did a lot of good things here. His constant insistence on good offensive players being moved to defense. You tried to move Alec Pierce to linebacker.
Yeah, that one wouldn't.
They wanted to move Tyler Scott to cornerback.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Luke joked about it all of last year. Because, again, throughout camp and through the season last year, I was all in on the Tyler Scott train. Every time Tyler Scott would do something good, I would ask Luke, and he would say, he's just lucky we haven't moved him to cornerback yet.
Huh.
Now, do I think Ethan Wright could have been a heck of a safety? Yeah, I do. I think he could have been a really good safety. But Ethan Wright wants to play offense, and I think he has a chance to be a very good, especially in a power spread attack like Scott Satterfield runs. The way he hits the hole, as aggressive as he is, I think Ethan Wright can be a considerable asset to the rushing attack going forward. So that was a positive.
Ivan Pace had a fantastic final game for the Cincinnati Bearcats. 16 total tackles, 7 solo, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Drew Donnelly looked solid in the return game.
He did. He was trying to make some plays.
He averaged 23.8 per kick return. Looked absolutely solid there. Mason Fletcher had almost 3 times as many yards punting as the offense had total yards. 7 punts, 302 yards, averaging 43.1 per. Good day for him.
When your offense is that bad, you punt a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
I mean, really, they were only a threat to score. What? Once? Twice?
Just because you're in the red zone doesn't necessarily even mean you're a threat to score. If I'm being
honest. I mean, I'm just saying,
nothing about what I saw today on offense made me think that they were a threat to score.
It's fair. Everything I saw today about the offense was offensive.
Concerning?
Offensive. It wasn't good. I mean, I don't even know how to sugarcoat any of that.
Instead, what you do is you close the book on football for the year 2022, the Luke Fickell era being over, and we're on to Scott Satterfield.
Yeah. So outside of the touchdown, the closest they got was the first drive with the turnover, and that got to the Louisville 36. They got to the Louisville 48 once and the Louisville 47 once. And other than that, that's the farthest. It was god awful.
Like I said,
God awful.
moving on.
Yeah, Bearcat brunch tomorrow. I do not envy Dave and Jeff.
Nope.
Because it's not going to be a fun 45-minute. It's not going to be fun Monday night either.
No.
When we have to, and Wednesday and
Tuesday.
Subsequently, anytime that's also almost. It's almost going to be a game that once we get through this week, we just never speak
talk about again.
Ever again.
Trophy's horrendous, by the way. The Fenway Bowl trophy. It's ugly.
It's just Fenway.
It's a block. It
Fenway.
looked like a high school diorama.
I mean, they had the bat, like the silver bat that Louisville had. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if that was for MVP, MOP, or MVP or whatever, but
I don't know.
Somebody had a bat.
Cincinnati didn't sniff it, so
no, they did not. Basketball, 78-60 victory over LaSalle. The Bearcats were up big for most of the day, playing a Fran Dunphy team, not to be confused with Phil Dunphy, playing a Fran Dunphy team. I've used that one a couple times.
I know. I just shake my head at you.
It's the dad joke in me. I can't help myself. It's always difficult because they're going to be a well-coached team. Fran's a good coach. He was the AAC Coach of the Year for like 7 years for a reason. But I think here's my takeaway, Aaron. My overall takeaway on this game, on a day where they shot 41% from the floor and 34% from three, they still managed to score 78 points. Now, some of that is, LaSalle turned it over 25 times.
Also 20-28 from the free throw line.
I mean, that's about 70%. It's what
I'm just
should
saying,
be average.
I feel like that's a lot of free throws, I guess is what I'm getting at.
They foul a lot. Like, Fran's teams are physical. They send you to the line quite a bit. So
that was my only point.
Yeah, that part not overly surprising when you're playing one of his teams. But the offense wasn't great today. But when your offense isn't great and you still find a way to score 78 points, that tells me things continue to trend in the right direction on that side of the floor.
Managed to have 5 guys in double digits with
all 5 starters.
Yep. Landers Nolly filled out the stat sheet quite a bit. 10 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, a steal.
Struggled from the floor. Didn't have his shot going, but didn't let that impact his overall engagement or performance. I thought he had a pretty good game defensively too.
He did have one play where he just put a guy on skates.
Yeah.
And
dropped him and then
knocked down a 3.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Davenport almost had a double-double.
I think clearly after the Xavier game, Wes and JD had a talk. I think JD did exactly what was asked of him against Miami. I think he did exactly what was asked of him against LaSalle. So as we head towards conference play, he is trending in the right direction.
The minutes
and I think that's a very good thing for this roster.
Yeah, the minutes have certainly looked improved. I don't feel like he's been quite the liability that he looked to be on both sides of the floor against Xavier. I don't know. I mean, he looks to be making. There was against, not this game against LaSalle in particular, but the last game, he had a pass where he could have taken a 3 and made that extra pass to Josh Reed. It just looks like he's looking for the extra pass more. As opposed to just shoot first mentality, which he's lived for 4 years.
Well, and like we've talked about, I mean, we've kind of hammered this to death, but there needed to be a realization from Jeremiah that there are more options now, and sharing the ball and getting everybody involved and getting good shots as opposed to being forced to take tough shots. Like, that's a difficult habit to break.
Sure.
When for 3 years it's been like, look, man, we need you to shoot. And now it's when you're open, knock down the shot, just like everybody else. And I think he's getting there. And I think it's been very positive.
I love the efficiency of Vic, though. 17 points in 20 minutes. Outside of Vic's minutes at the 5 spot, I'm still very concerned when he's not in the game, as Odie's minutes today didn't look super impressive.
He's not a center.
No, I get that. And Kalua Zikpe had a lot of minutes out there today, 15 minutes, and not much to write home about for those 15 minutes.
He played 3 minutes. What are you talking about?
Then I looked at it wrong.
When you said 15, I was like, I do not remember seeing him out there for 15 minutes. He played 3.
All right. Well, again, ESPN's failing me. I didn't have the stat broadcast. It says 15 minutes for Kalua Zikpe.
No.
Okay.
Hold on.
Didn't look at it wrong.
There you go.
Okay. That's very different than what ESPN. I'm not in my normal setup, as you can see. I'm doing family Christmas here in Indy, so I apologize for playing behind the 8 ball a little bit here.
Dan, couple more threes. He's starting to find a good rhythm from the perimeter. Didn't have his mid-range shot going, but did block 3 mid-range jump shots today, where the guy tried to just rise up and shoot over him, and Dan was like, go, gadget arms. No. His length is frightening for when he figures this all out. We've talked about the rebounds before.
Which is still fascinating because he still finds himself in the right position all the damn time for rebounding. It's crazy.
That also is amplified by the fact that his arms can just it's like his hand is above the tip of everybody else's fingers go to his palm when he goes up for a rebound, like at the height of it. Like it feels like you can always just see, like when he's out there, his arm is just better positioned and 6 inches higher than everyone else. It's crazy.
Well, we love to see that from the young guys. Jizzle James was there. How was he received by the crowd?
Got a good ovation from the crowd. Good ovation. They had him. Now that he's signed, you can acknowledge his existence. So they had him come out to half court and
throw T-shirts.
Yeah, he did throw a T-shirt. I think he might have. But they had him, come out and welcome everybody. Welcome Jizzle James. Everybody gave him a big ovation. Looked like he liked it. But yeah, it was what you expected them to do to LaSalle. It was one of those annoying games that stays between 8 points or 20 points and 12. And LaSalle would cut it down, and then UC would push it back to 20. And LaSalle would get it down to 14, and UC would push it back to 20. And just kind of where it never feels like it's in jeopardy of getting close enough for Cincinnati to lose. But you never got that momentum of pulled away for good, I guess, is the way to put it. Yeah. Well, you need to go do Christmas presents.
I do. Everyone's waiting on me.
So we appreciate you taking the time. And that's the
beat goes on.
That's the Cliff Notes version of what all happened today. Stay tuned to BearcatJournal.com. We will have more in the coming days. He's Aaron Smith. I'm Chad Brendel. Thanks to Galactic Fried Chicken. That's the nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya.